So in the last verse, what these asuras, the two sons of Diti, what kind of activities they will perform was described. So it was described, they will kill innocent, faultless living entities. They would torture the weak section, the woman, and also they would enrage. They will prohibit, put obstacles for devotees, for great souls who want to propagate Krishna consciousness as a mission of the Lord. Then Prabhupada explained in the purport, towards the end of the purport, that when such things become prominent by the activities of asuras, then either the Lord Himself or the representative, the bona fide representative of the Lord, they descend in this world to make a change in the social order. And in today's verse, it is more clearly described about why the Lord descends. Does the Lord descend because of the asuras? Because asura has become very powerful and the Lord does not find any other mean and He personally has to descend? Or is it the Lord descends to please His devotees, to give protection to His devotees? So that is very clearly outlined in this purport of Prabhupada, where Prabhupada establishes that actually the Lord descends not just to kill the asura. The Lord has many agents. The example here it is given is Yathadrin Shataparvadhrik. Adri means mountain. So just like the mountain Shataparvadhrik, Indra can smash the biggest of the mountains with his thunderbolt. So Prabhupada is explaining that in this material world, mountain is something considered to be very strong. The body of mountain is very strong. We are also seeing here, this is not very big mountain. The small hill which we are having, we are finding it so difficult to excavate that hill. Isn't it? It's very difficult. So this huge mountain, the strongest of the body, like if you consider all other bodies, we are having body, human beings are having body, trees are having body, other living entities are having body. But of all of them, the body of the mountain is very strong. So, even to destroy the body of the mountain, the Lord has agents. So, great personalities like Indra can smash such mountains to pieces with his thunderbolt. So, actually, is there a demon who can have more power? Isn't it? Demon's body, cannot be greater than the body of a mountain, cannot be as strong as the body of a mountain. So if Indra can smash a mountain, the Lord has many agents. Prabhupada says, Kali is there, representative of Kala, or time. Durga Devi is there with trident in her hand, ready to kill miscreants. Isn't it? Material nature itself. One earthquake comes, one flood comes, thousands of such demons can be subdued by the arrangement of the Lord. So, is it that the Lord comes to foremost to kill the demons because he is not able to find some other agents, his energy is not sufficient to kill? So, does the Lord come personally just to kill the demons? That is very essential. That's why Prabhupada is explaining in Bhagavad Gita that verse which explains the famous verse which people quote, Paritranay sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Foremost, the Lord comes out of affection for his devotees to give them protection, to please his devotees. Secondarily, the Lord comes to kill the demons. So as Prabhupada is explaining, to kill the demon, the Lord does not have to come personally. If a great mountain can be smashed by Indra, there may not be such a demon whose body is as hard as that like of a mountain. So agents of the Lord are sufficient to smash their bodies to pieces. But still the Lord descends to give pleasure to his devotees. For the sake of his devotees, to give protection, personal protection to his devotee, the Lord descends. The Lord can give protection to his devotee by just smashing the demon through some kind of agent. But the Lord wants to show that he cares personally for his devotees. And that is what is being highlighted even in the battle of Kurukshetra, we can see. When Krishna has already said to Arjuna, declare it to the whole world, my devotee shall never perish. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Right? So, at one hand the Lord has promised, saying to Arjuna, declare it to the whole world, my devotee shall never perish. And we are seeing simultaneously there is another great devotee of the Lord, Bhishma. And Bhishma is wanting, he is having a desire, no, the Lord should fight. He should lift weapon. I want to see the Lord in that chivalrous rasa, virya rasa. Because that is the relation Bhishma had with Lord Krishna. He wanted to see the Lord rushing towards him. Just like he gives the example when he is praying to the Lord, my dear Lord, you are rushing towards me. You are not even caring for your outer garments. Your outer garments were flowing. Your body was wounded. Blood was oozing out. You never bothered for any of those things. You were rushing like a mad, just like a lion rushes at an elephant. So just like that, the Lord was rushing towards Bhishma. So we know about that how when Duryodhana, he told Bhishma Pitamaha, he criticized him, that what are you doing? You are very partial. From the very beginning you have been very partial to the Pandavas. You are not fighting to your capacity. Otherwise you have got so much capacity to fight, but you are not fighting to your capacity. So then Bhishma, he said, okay, I take this vow that tomorrow either Arjuna will perish by my might of my fighting, or the Lord will have to break his promise to give protection to his devotees. So now Bhishma has also taken now a vow, the Lord, either I will kill Arjuna or the Lord has to break his promise. So the Lord has to satisfy both. Bhishma is also wanting that the Lord should take up his weapon. He breaks his own promise, charges towards me. Isn't it? Like an enemy, he should charge towards me. That was his desire. He wanted to relate with the Lord in Virya Rasa. So next day, Prabhupada explains, Bhishma was unstoppable. Left and right he took Arjuna, smashed his chariot, and practically was on the verge of death. Because actually Arjuna is nothing in front of Bhishma in terms of, what potency Bhishma had in his archery. So he smashed Arjuna, his chariot, everything. And when the Lord saw that there is nothing else, nothing can be done now, the Lord personally went, took out the wheel of the chariot, and in great anger, he rushed towards Bhishma, to give protection to his devotee. And then immediately, seeing the Lord rushing like this, Bhishma gave up his bows and arrows, everything. So we can see, this is the Lord, he actually descends to give protection to his devotees, personal protection to his devotees. Here also, if he wanted, the Lord could have arranged some way or other to kill Bhishma, give protection to Arjuna. But Krishna wants to show to his devotees, don't worry, I am personally there for you. And similarly, a devotee is also not afraid. Devotee, he is not dependent on somebody. Devotee is not dependent on his course of action. Devotee is not dependent on some demigods, powerful devatas. Exclusively, devotees are dependent on the Lord. And when devotees are exclusively dependent on the Lord is also, he gives exclusive protection to the devotees. He reciprocates. Ye yatha mam prapadyante, tam state bhajamyaham. If a devotee is exclusively dependent, the Lord gives exclusive protection. If the devotee is not exclusively dependent, then similarly the Lord also waits. First you exhaust all your different means of protection, and when you have exhausted, and then when you finally become dependent on me alone, then I will give you protection. Then we see that when Draupadi was trying to save herself, it was not possible. She requested all the Pandavas, she requested everybody. None of them worked out. Then finally she raised her hand and just pleaded to the Lord, and immediately the Lord reciprocated. So the Lord shows that how, just like the devotees are completely dependent on the Lord, similarly, the Lord becomes completely controlled by the will of the devotees. In the way the devotee wants the mercy of the Lord gives his mercy in that form. Just like even everyday morning we are singing, Namaste Narsimhaya Prahladalada Dayine. The Lord actually appeared to give joy to his devotee, Prahladalad. Secondary, he came to kill Hiranyakashipu, to tear his chest apart, all those things, to protect another devotee's vow, Brahma. But most importantly, the Lord appeared to give protection to his devotee, to give personal joy by his appearance to his devotee Prahlad, and to fulfill that promise the Lord has given to his devotees, Name Bhakta Pranashyati, that I give personal protection to my devotees. Prabhupada gave one example about one king who had a minister, and who would say always that the Lord gives personal protection to his devotees. So he was saying that you are always worshipping the Lord, you are glorifying that Lord. But does he really give personal protection? And does he really have to give personal protection at all? Just like then he gave example, I am very powerful as a king. I have so many of my energies. My attendants are there, my people are there to give protection. Why the Lord has to at all give personal protection to his own people? The Lord is powerful, he can give protection through many of his energies. So then the minister said, when the time comes, I will tell you how the Lord gives personal protection. So one day, the time came like that the king, he called, the son of the king, and the minister was walking along with the son of the king. And then suddenly what the minister did was, he just pushed the son in that small lake which was nearby. And then he saw the response. Even though the king was going along with many of his great commanders and army and expert swimmers were there, and the king had no idea how to swim practically, but still when his son was pushed in that in that lake, he personally jumped trying to save his son. And even though later on he became very angry on the minister, but when the minister explained the situation, why he did this, was just to give him an idea that even though you give protection to all your citizens you give them protection through your energies. But when it comes to your own people, you give them personal protection. You see, you great commanders were present here. So many people, expert swimmers were there. You did not bother about that. You personally went, even though you had no idea about swimming, you personally went to save your own people. And then he said, this is not partiality, because they're exclusively dependent on you. So, actually the Lord similarly gives personal protection to his devotees, even though he is not partial in that sense. Because 100% devotee is dependent, the Lord gives him 100% protection. This is true for anybody. You see, it's not a question of partiality in that sense. If somebody is not 100% dependent, as much is dependent, that much protection is given. So non-devotees are not 100% dependent on the Lord. So he is equal to them also. And the Lord is equal to the devotees. Why? Because 100% they are dependent on the Lord. So the Lord also reciprocates 100%. If the non-devotees also become 100% dependent and they also become surrendered to the Lord will also give them that personal protection. In that sense, we should understand, even though the Lord is partial to his devotees, he is still not partial in that sense. So, Prabhupada is saying in today's purport, Prabhupada is highlighting this very important point. Prabhupada is saying here, there are many agents of the Lord, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Durga, Kali, who can chastise any formidable miscreants in the world. Any kind of formidable miscreants, they can be chastised by these energies of the Lord. Indra is there, greater than Indra is Goddess Durga herself, the material energy personified as Durga. She can chastise biggest and biggest of the demons, isn't it, by the will of the Lord. So Prabhupada is saying all this is available. The mountain is considered the most strongly built body within the universe, and it can be smashed by the arrangement of the Lord. The Supreme Lord does not need to descend in order to kill any strongly built body. So this Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu strongly built body, he has got some boons and all. Still the Lord did not have to come personally. Still he can smash them. Just by his will they can be smashed. The Lord is called Satya Sankalpa. If the Lord wills this person has to be smashed, just by his thinking they can be smashed. Finished. Just like we see the example when Balramji killed Roma Harshana Suta. How did he kill? Just by throwing one small, one straw. Just he threw like this and Romarshana was finished, vanquished. So just by the will of the Lord, big demons can be killed. So Prabhupada is saying the Lord doesn't have to descend just to kill the demoniac people. So why does the Lord descend? So Prabhupada is saying, He comes down just for the sake of His devotees. So why the Lord comes down? He comes down for the sake of His devotees. But then we also hear that the Lord comes when innocent people are being killed. Right? Just before that we saw women are being tortured. In order to re-establish dharma, the Lord descends. So Prabhupada explains that is also related to the devotees. All those things still the Lord can do it impersonally, isn't it? Still such demoniac people can be killed impersonally. But because when such adharmas prevails in the society, it gives pain to the devotees. That pain is what makes the Lord descend. It is not just killing of, because that happens. By karma, people are getting killed. One person is killing another. All those things are happening by karma. But when a devotee is pained by all these things, the Lord descends. See, this is very interesting how Prabhupada is explaining. It is still because of the devotee the Lord descends. Just like we see the example of Vasudeva Datta, one of the great examples of compassion for the living entities. Vasudeva Datta was not able to see the pains of the living entities. He was so concerned. He told Lord Chaitanya, my dear Lord, I am not able to see the pain of these living entities. Please do like this. Whatever different karmas are there of these living entities have to suffer, let all those karmas be dumped on my head. Let me suffer life after life for their karmas. Please relieve them. The Lord was very happy to see the compassion of Vasudeva Datta. You see? Today's conversation also Prabhupada explained about that how devotees are very merciful. Anyone remembers what Prabhupada in today's conversation talked about? Prabhupada even quoted that verse, Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Prabhupada explained there are two kinds of people, asuras and devotees of the Lord. Prabhupada gave the distinction, very beautiful distinction. What is asura? What is devotee? Ram Gopal, do you remember? Anantarupa? It's worth remembering, very interesting. Gaur Gopal? Also don't remember. Okay. Prabhupada says, demoniac civilization means let everyone suffer, I become happy. This is exactly quality of a demon. What is Hiranyakashipu thinking? Let everyone suffer, I should be happy. Exploiting others to be happy. And Prabhupada is saying today's civilization is demoniac. Why? Because one man is exploiting others at the cost of machine. He is getting huge salary. One technician, he is working on the computer. 3 lakh, 4 lakh he is getting. What is the idea? Let me enjoy, all other be unemployed. I will get all their salaries. That 3 lakh salary could have been distributed between some hundreds of people. But he is getting one salary. So Prabhupada is saying, this is called demoniac civilization. I want to enjoy at the cost of others' suffering. Whereas, what is Vedic society? What is God-conscious society? Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. Everybody should be prosperous. Everybody should be happy. That is Vedic civilization. And then Prabhupada is explaining, And Vaishnava is thinking, for my salvation, it is already guaranteed. But he is thinking, how these poor people will be saved? Soche tato vimukha chetasa maya sukhaya brahm udavato vimudhan. Prahlad Maharaj. This is Vaishnava's position. Para dukkha dukkhi. Even though he knows, my everything is arranged. So he is not thinking, anyway, I am going to be happy. Why I should take any kind of burden? Mine is guaranteed already. I am going to be liberated from this world. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, my dear Lord, I don't want liberation. Even if it is guaranteed, I don't want. Let me stay back in this material world and try to get back these living entities who have become vimukha chetasam. They have turned away their face from you. I am just thinking about that. I have no anxiety. You see, materialistic people have so many anxieties. Prahlad Maharaj says, I also have anxiety, great anxiety. But none of this material anxiety. My anxiety is how to take these people back to Godhead. This is my anxiety. And because of that, the Lord appears. Because the Lord cannot see anxiety of the devotee. When Advaita Acharya appealed to the Lord, seeing the suffering, humanity, the Lord appeared because of the prayers of Advaita Acharya. Otherwise, constantly suffering is going on in the material world. According to karma, the living entities are going from one Brahmanda to another. But when the devotee becomes pained by this, and he, requests the Lord to descend out of compassion, out of love for his devotee, affection for his devotee, the Lord personally appears in this world. So, that's what Prabhupada is saying. He is unhappy by seeing others unhappy. For himself, he has no unhappiness. Para dukkha dukkhi. Kripam budhir yam yastam aham prapadhe. This is Vaishnava philosophy. Vaishnava shall work hard, undergo all tribulation for others. He has no problem. Vaishnava has no problem. He has taken shelter of Krishna, he has no problem. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. And because of this compassion the devotee has for all living entities, the Lord gives him all protection. Prabhupada is saying, Krishna also gives guarantee. Anyone who has taken shelter of me, he is saved. I give him protection. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Aham tvam sarve papebhyo mokshashyam. See? So, this is what we can see. Prabhupada explains. So, this is one of the most important reasons that even though we saw in the previous verse that the Lord descends to give, when demoniac activities increases and they give tortures to innocent and faultless living entities, killing is going on, and to the weaker section like children and women when they are harassed, and specifically when the devotees of the Lord are harassed. Actually, Prabhupada is explaining all other things the Lord can take care by his energy, but personally, because the Lord cannot bear the pain of his devotees, the devotees are his heart, and in the heart of the devotee there is nothing else but Krishna. So because of that, the Lord personally appears to give protection to the devotees. For their cause, the Lord appears. So that is what is being explained here. We'll stop with this Granthra, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.